a conversation with somebody this morning, Darren. And I was about to leave you all on your own like Padboard, right? So, Darren,
yeah.
I asked this particular person who will at this point remain nameless. Right? So I say, man, I second tired you coming with all of these fancy names, right? I say, tell me who was Padboard and where was Padboard from, and also tell me what Padboard's story was. Right? Now listen to this stuff. You heard the term, I can leave you on your own like Padboard?
Yeah, man.
So Arlene, who was Padboard? Where Padboard from and what's Padboard's story? Let's start.
And you call it my name. Pat Boone was an American singer in I would say in the 50s and 60s. And I wouldn't describe his style as country, but he had, he was one of those crooners. And so Pat Boone was an American singer. And so this expression grew up in the Bahamas, that you on your own, like Pat Boone, his surname is spelled Boone. And of course, we don't, a lot of times when it comes to our vowels, we pronounce them differently. And so in the Bahamas, a lot of times there's one O, but we pronounce it as a double O. So instead of the Lone Ranger, we'd say the Lone Ranger. And so the expression grew up in the Bahamas, you on your own, like Pat Boone.
Thank you very much for that. See, Darren.
Another piece of great Bahamian history.
That's why, right? You gotta test them sometimes.
Yeah.
They're out here pontificating sometimes. They gotta make sure when they pontificate, they can back up their pontification.
But listen here, Chairman, the other one, I cannot back up. And I love it so much. And my nephew say, well, Arnie, who was Patty? When I say it ain't last as long as Patty lasts in the army. Say, who was Patty? And how long did he last in the army? And I have not been able to figure that out. So anybody who know who Patty was and how long he lasted in the army, let us know.
No, we can let you do that for your dissertation, your doctoral dissertation. We come back to that next week.
I gotta be looking up a whole bunch of people. Who was Uncle Lou? Who fall in the well? That's a dissertation for truth.
And how deep this well was, where this well was located, was Uncle Lou drunk, was Uncle Lou sober, did Uncle Lou have an auntie named Patty? All of this you got to deal with.
And listen here, we ain't get to Miss Lucy yet and why she hang herself in the mango tree.
Hey, now, there's a mangola tree, there's a mango tree, or there's a mango tree. What do we
There's a mango tree. There ain't no mango. You never once sing mango in your life. Mango tree.
I just want you all to know that I take in notes, and if you all happen to see this name of Bahamian sayings and folklore on Bay Street, I teach it. I just want you all to know. I teach it. Keep going.
That's a good one though, because if you really explore that Bahamian expressions, some years ago a school came to Junior Junkanoo out of Freeport. I cannot remember which one. They did not limit it to Bahamian expressions. It was just basically expressions, proverbs, whatever we call them. And so, all that glitters is not gold, and they had a whole section that were the costumes were gold, and I just thought it was such a creative theme from then, so we could do wonders if we make it a Bahamian thing.
Arlene, they need me and you in the room to deal with that.
They need you to go into chopper mode.
You know what?
I didn't say you and I said me and you.
Darren, I know somebody who used to say between I and you.
Between I and you is what? Oh?
You know what? Arlene, please get us started with our prayer, because this show done getting downhill.
We are downhill, but it is ridiculous. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, For the gift of life, we give you thanks. For our nation, we pray for peace, prosperity, and principle, recovery and restoration. And for ourselves, we pray for wisdom to use your gifts wisely, especially the precious gift of Junkanoo, so that we may honor you, serve your people, build better communities, a better Bahamas, and a better world. Amen.
Amen. Proud to be Bahamian. Sorry, we just not proud to be Bahamian. But anyway,
I think so.
I'll ask you all again. Proud to be Bahamian. What do we have this morning? Anything, guys?
Yeah, actually, there's this week or the past week was Literacy and Numeracy Week. And I was invited by one of the coordinators of EP Roberts primary school, and they had a board competition for decorating.
Nice.
Man, listen to me. And
in the Grove?
no, right in Angliston.
Yeah.
Right?
Lincoln Boulevard.
That's where the Grove was. See, I know you ain't used to going in these areas, so yes, that's the part of the Grove.
Okay, my bad. Let's go with that. And Arlene, not only did they have a board competition, they had like a week of activities going on.
Nice.
They had a chef come in and they were baking red velvet cupcakes and everything. And it was very heartwarming to see how, they took the lesson out of the books, from off the blackboards and actually got the kids so involved in the curriculum. Literacy and Numeracy Week. And I want to say, a special shout out to Tonya Store Bell and her whole team that made it happen. The theme,
Tonya, yes.
The theme was adapting, connecting, and problem solving using literacy and numeracy. So it's really
beautiful.
Actually,
Congratulations, Tonya.
Good work, Darren. Actually, our lodge also we do a mentorship program at EP Roberts.
Okay.
And what we do is we go and we meet with the men, the young men from grade 4 and 5. We do it like once a week. We have to restart because we had to stop because of COVID. But it's a very EP Roberts is doing some very interesting things, and the schools have to lead the way in many respects. So we have to continue to. I congratulate them, congratulate the team at EP Roberts. Continue to forge on.
Yeah, and we also salute your organization and all of the service groups in our country who pour back into our children. Believe me, we would begin to see a tremendous difference, particularly in the development of our young men, if the men who have walked that way before go back to show them how to be great Bahamians. And so we congratulate your organization as well. This is the secret society.
Well, there are no secrets.
Yeah.
And I thanks you talking about this. I also have to congratulate my other fraternity, the Men of Omega Psi Phi. We did a project also at I think it's Stanford Primary School.
Beautiful.
For the past week as well. So, I just believe that those to whom much is given, much is required.
Yes, sir.
So,
absolutely. You have to give back.
I try to live my life in a way where I can, when I'm in this constant cycle of giving. Because it's just not important.
It truly is, and it's that it's that significant for sure. Before I forget, it's always very humbling when you get feedback and you realize that people are listening to our show on a Saturday morning, even when they are not Junkanoos or not participating Junkanoos per se. And so I was actually in the parking lot in the area of Cable, Bahamas, a day or two ago. And a young man, when I said good morning, he said, "This sounds like the lady on the radio." And his name is Lamar Johnson. And I want to say good morning and thank him so much for listening, because Bahamians are interested. And whether you put on a costume or not, they take pride in their culture and they follow our culture. And so, Lamar, thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. Thank you for listening. It was really a pleasure meeting you.
Wow. What a start. I guess we gotta go to our break, right?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna go to our first break, and on the other side of this, on the break, on the other side of the break, we're gonna talk about a topic actually we have already started to talk about. See you on the other side of the break.
What you scared of?
Grammy, if I tip off the police and somebody find out,
Ain't nobody gonna find out. Crime Stoppers ain't the police. They just does works with the police.
same difference.
No, boy, with Crime Stoppers, you're safe. When you call their number, it miss the Bahamas altogether and go directly to Miami or Toronto, Canada. Ain't nobody gonna know your voice or that you name Bertram or that you live down the alley.
Grammy, you realize you IDing me right now?
Boy, I raise no criminal. If you see what going down, call Crime Stoppers. They get no personal info. They just give you a PIN number.
So how you know so much about them?
How you think your uncle get up Fox Hill?
You serious?
If he won't be canned, I able to turn him in.
So uncle know you was a snitch?
Crime Stoppers ain't never gonna tell nobody. And for top info, they just give you cash.
You get paid and all?
You eating good, right? The light's still on, eh?
Grammy,
Wait your manner. Stop the crime before it's your time. Huh?
Call 328-TIPS or from the Family Islands 242-300-TIPS.
This public service announcement was brought to you by Crime Stoppers in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
So you saw Larry take the money off the teacher's desk.
Yes, Mom.
And you told the teacher.
No, Mom.
Why not?
Because Larry wouldn't want to be my friend no more.
Honey, Larry did something wrong and you need to tell an adult. You may feel bad, but it is important that you do the right thing. Nobody has to find out that you told.
Okay.
Small crimes lead to big crimes. If you see a crime, you can call Crime Stoppers. It's safe and easy, and nobody knows who you are. You'll speak directly to someone in Miami or Toronto, Canada. They never ask anything about you. So be brave and do the right thing. We all need to help. Stop the crime before it's our time.
Guess what, Mommy? I feel good because I told somebody about Larry and the teacher get our money back. So pick up the phone. No one will ever call you a snitch.
Call Crime Stoppers Bahamas today at 328-8477 or from the Family Islands 242-300-8477. It's safe, and the life you save may be your own.
This public service announcement was brought to you by Crime Stoppers in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
From the Junkanoo archives on the Junkanoo timeline, the year was 1959. It was an era when Junkanoo groups took their names from their sponsors, and so groups on the parade that year included East Bay, Mike's Shoe Shop, The Punch Bowl, Fine's Department Store, and Pepsi Cola. Another exciting notch on the Junkanoo timeline. You're muted, Darren.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to Junkanoo 242. The E-Shack is wide open this morning, and we're going to have a discussion about a survey that the JCNP had, I think, put online a few weeks ago. The survey really asked a number of questions about Junkanoo and how we'd like to see this parade, the upcoming parades, I guess, operating or functioning, Darren.
Correct. Yes.
And so this morning we were going to go through that survey. Unfortunately, the chairman of the JCNP, Mr. Dion Miller, is unable to make it this morning because he had some pressing matters. I hope these matters relate to going to debate, right? He had some pressing matters. So, we are on our own like Pat Boone this morning. So, Darren, I'm going to turn it over to you because I know you had an opportunity to definitely go through that survey in detail. So let's talk about it.
Arlene, you see when people learn new things?
Yeah, boy, look here. You can't teach them nothing. You can't teach them nothing.
It's called application.
Use
So-
this
so
in a
what's-
sentence.
Huh?
Use this in a sentence.
You are on your own like Padboard.
But see, you ain't saying it right because you saying own. You on your own. Like Bad Bone, it got a rhyme.
All right. Sorry, man. Sorry, you're on your own like Padboard then.
Yeah, you to speak polite at the wrong times, man. But seriously, how many questions were there
10.
total? And how
10 questions.
Okay. Do we want to take them one at a time? Or do we want to give the results of, how do we want to, let's come up with a strategy.
Let's do this. Let's take them one at a time.
Yes.
Give results for each question. Let's
Right.
discuss it, and then let's move to the next question.
Okay, good. We'll take them one at a time. So DF, we read question 1, you'll tell us the results, and then we'll talk about it before we move to question 2. That's our plan, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And our Facebook family, we expect them to jump into the chat. And of course, those persons who are listening via ZNS, please feel free to call us as well, because this is very important. And go ahead.
3255403, 3255404, or 3255405. And from the
Excellent.
Family Islands, 1242308
5-5.
5-5.
55. I just want to see if you all remember. Yeah.
Man, stop.
Okay, so
let's roll.
question number 1 was, should the 2022/23 Junkanoo parades be a competition? And the results was, there was 501 persons that answered this question. The results was 79.84% said yes. 20.16% said no.
Now, in my opinion, and I guess everybody will have an opportunity to discuss, to give their opinion. I think it shouldn't be a competition.
Me
It shouldn't
too.
be a competition as far as I see it, because I think there's so many things that we need to fix before we even think about going into a competitive mode. I think
I agree.
For me, we need to take this time to really revamp Junkanoo, how we look at Junkanoo and how we approach Junkanoo. So the competition for me is definitely a no. In my opinion, and I'm going to speak very frank to this. In my opinion, over the last 40 years, we have turned Junkanoo more into a competition more than than what it's supposed
A celebration.
to be. It's a celebration. So, you know, if I honestly had to deal with it, I would say this. This is what I would propose to the Junkanoo groups. Listen to me. I'm your main sponsor, so to speak, right? I've already committed to sponsoring Junkanoo X amount of dollars per year. For the next 5 years, I can give you all no money, right? This is what I'd like for you all to do. I would like for you guys to take this time to think really and to think really about how you want to advance this thing called Junkanoo way past a competition. Consider this. And in my mind, this is what I think the leadership in Junkanoo should be talking about. How do we do for ourselves? Why isn't the leadership in Junkanoo? I'm talking about the NJC, I'm talking about the JCNP, I'm talking about all of the stakeholders. I'm even talking about Junkanoos themselves. Why are we not talking about how we truly own this thing called Junkanoo? Why can't our leadership come back to us? And I guess all of us are a part of the leadership. I guess you two are part of the leadership in Junkanoo, right? I just rushed, right? So why isn't our leadership talking to us about actually owning what it is that we have? I was in a discussion yesterday and I'm sorry the chairman was in here. The chairman of the JCNP, Dion Miller, and Andrew Pender. We were having a discussion about another matter. And, you know, I said to them, I said, you know, years ago, I had this thought about how Junkanoo can actually come up with its own IPO. You create a plan that actually helps us to fund ourselves. You put seeds in the ground, so to speak, have some investment opportunities, and allow Junkanoos to actually invest in that themselves, rather than us coming to Bay Street every year to talking about who win, who lose. Quite frankly, for me, that's an old story. That's my opinion on that. On question number 1.
I have a similar opinion. My conclusion is the same as yours. I don't think it should be a competition for very similar reasons. Just exactly as you said, we need to use this time to be introspective and look deep within ourselves as to where our Junkanoo is going and where we want it to go. I believe that if we make it a competition, there are several issues for me. Like you say, I'm only speaking for Arlene. First of all, finances will be a serious issue. If you are competing, it is just human nature that you are going to go all out to beat the next person. I do not think our personal resources are there. I don't think the sponsors have the resources that we had almost not really taken for granted that we were accustomed to. And I also believe that when we come right out of 2 years absence and you make it a competition and that's all you're focusing on, and I think you said this perhaps in another way, we are missing what Junkanoo really is. We are missing the celebratory aspect of it. And that's why I had said last week, we need to our theme, everybody theme needs to be celebrating life or something like that, generic like that. And we just need to get out there and celebrate life and the fact that we are back on Bay Street and not get distracted with who win and who lose and who should have win and who could have lose. And so I guess in essence, I'm saying the same thing as you, but my great lament is, this may not be accurate, but I think because so many people are locked, I want to use the word stuck, into the competition mode, I just wonder if people have been paying attention to what we have been saying on the radio for 20 years, that Junkanoo is more than a parade and a competition. That's not it. And after 2 years of being away, we want to come back and fall right into the same old rut. And so there's a sadness there for me. There's a sadness there that all people see is competition. That's what they want to get back to. They don't want to get back to the celebration, to the core, the essence, the generic Junkanoo. They want to get back to competition, and that's sad for me.
You know something, Arlene, you're an educator, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And the fact of the matter is, children, we learn, we act based on what we were taught.
Yeah.
And for the last 40 years, the narrative in Junkanoo is we're going to be the Saxons, we're going to be the Valley Boys, we're going to be this one. And we grew up, quote unquote, eating that, right? Then that's the result of what we have now. So now is the time for us to change that narrative. We have an opportunity to reset this. Let's do it. For me, I don't care who wins Junkanoo for the next 100 years. I don't care. I don't want nobody come around me, but boy, we is the most winningest group. That's a lame argument. I don't want to hear it. Don't come to me with it. Period.
Yeah.
Period.
Now, Darren, Dwayne, morning, Dwayne. It's always such a pleasure to have you in the E-Shack. He is saying, can we present this same poll to the Junkanoo leaders or execs? Point being, these answers presented today are from the wider Junkanoo community, mostly fans or spectators. But Dwayne, didn't we ask Dion that last week? Remember, I asked him specifically who was answering this.
The poll.
Right. And didn't he say it was for the Junkanoo community? Wasn't that what he said?
Yes. It was put online.
even with that night, I know that I think we didn't even introduce Ronald this morning. Ronald, good morning.
Morning, Ronald.
Ronald blamed Darren for everything. These young fellas have no manners. I put Arlene in charge of him. She even ain't dealing with that. I can put on 2 Ronald, good morning, my brother. How are you?
One thing with you, you don't take no blame for nothing.
No, Bala. None whatsoever. None, Bala.
But I just wanted to make a point. As long as we go to the general community on this question of whether there should be Junkanoo, you're going to get a yes. The general community do not do Junkanoo. We are going to change Junkanoo and what it is and what it stands for. It has to be done from within.
Amen.
You can't go and ask the people what they think about Junkanoo. You think they care about how much time you all spend in the shack or how much money you got? They want them bragging rights. So you gotta, this has to be an internal decision.
Ronald, that is exactly why I asked Dion last week, who was this distributed to? That was exactly my point. Because obviously, people who want it to be a competition don't think finances are an issue.
Thank you. They only want to jump over in them bleachers and then talk with Valley Sacks and one family and they
wow.
And none of your business how much money you getting, where you get it from.
Yeah.
Nothing, you know.
For y'all hot, and this will be question number
And
one.
guess what? How could true. How could we say we want to make this a competition and oh Lord Jesus. Anyway, more of us gotta eat. Let me put it like that. More of us gotta eat. Take the same money and put it right back into our community. That's how I see that.
Mm-hmm. People are in trouble financially, and it's leading to social issues. It's leading to so many things. And I totally agree with you. There has to be a better way that we can spend that money, given this circumstance in which we find ourselves, and still have a good time.
Ma? All right then.
All right.
We could go to bed, but we could go another way.
We used to have a good time rushing from Gombe Summer to the Jumbe village just to do it.
Yes.
No competition. We did that just to do it.
Listen here, Ronald Sims, you couldn't have a better time than an Independence one. And you remember the early parades when we used to rush straight to Arawaki? Mm-hmm. You couldn't have a better time than that.
But look at, you ain't got to go that far. Look.
No, I'm just saying, there's no competition, but we having the time of our lives.
Labor Day ain't no competition, and we just have a great time right there from East Street to Tingham. To
right.
No, but Ronald, you forget we used to start from Wolf Road.
Oh, that's right.
You forget it. Yep. Come up Wolf Road,
yes.
Windsor Park, come straight up East Street, then we go up Main Street.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, Owen is saying the opposite. Owen is saying that the problem is that these types of questions are usually posed to the leaders and execs, but the voice of the members and persons on the ground is rarely heard. Many leaders don't even discuss the issues on the floor at the JCNP level with their membership. So we got the two sides of the coin represented here.
And then, and I'm sure Dwayne Ellis would probably agree with this too. You also have to be careful with polls as well, because you have to understand, and you alluded to it earlier, Arlene, who is answering these polls, right?
That's right. Yeah, right. And even though, as Owen pointed out, there's one, what do you all techies call it? You only can send it in once from one computer or phone or whatever. There are ways to get around that. When you marshal your posse and you decide you are going to swamp that thing, the sky is the limit. You know what I mean?
And then you have to understand your margin of error as well, and all those type of things that comes when you talk about surveys and that kind of thing. But no, you have to ask who is answering the poll. Is this truly a representation of a wide cross section of people?
Yeah. And Jackie has a beautiful comment. Morning, Jackie. She
My
said, reset. Sorry?
My good cousin?
She's your good cousin, eh?
Yeah,
Okay. Jackie says, must return to being a true celebration and being a movement affecting greater intentional, focused work within our communities through outreach initiatives. Our country needs help in all ways. Reset. And that's the word. Reset.
Right. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to our next break. And on the other side of that break, feel
Question
free
two.
Question two. 3255403, 3255404, 3255405, and from our family lines 1242-300-8255. We'll be right back.
When vehicles without an accessible parking permit use a parking space designated for persons with disabilities, even for just a minute, that's 60 seconds too long. The abuse of accessible parking spaces is a daily frustration for persons with disabilities. It is inconsiderate, insensitive, and hinders persons with disabilities from effectively conducting business and actively participating in community life. Never park in a space reserved for people with disabilities unless you have a permit to do so. It is the right and respectful thing to do. This message is brought to you by the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities, a unit in the Ministry of Social Services and Community Development. For more information, visit www.disabilitiescommissionbahamas.org.
What you hear on this radio station is governed by IRCA's Code of Practice for Content Regulation. The Code of Practice covers matters relating to program content that are of concern to the community, such as local content, news, current affairs, and programs for children, advertising, including political advertisements, and the responsibilities associated with broadcasting in the Bahamas. The code also covers aspects such as access services for the hearing and visually impaired, and the procedure for lodging a complaint about anything broadcast by this station. The code is available on the IRCA website at www.ircabahamas.bs. To receive a copy of the code by mail or in person, you may telephone IRCA at 242-393-0234. Family Island dialing is toll-free at 1-242-300-8722. Or you may send a request by email to info@ircabahamas.bs.
From the Junkanoo Library, filed under J for Junkanoo. In recent years, the term Junkanooer has become popular to describe persons who participate in Junkanoo. Yet, there are some who strongly refuse to be called by this label. For them, a Junkanooer is someone who participates in Junkanoo. They believe that they do not only participate in Junkanoo, they are Junkanoo. And so, in the fine tradition of the great Sir Lyndon Oscar Penland, they proudly declare, I am Junkanoo, celebrating the proud heritage of our Junkanoo. We are so proud of it.
Welcome back, folks. You're listening to the most consistent, longest running cultural show called Junkanoo 242. We are here and we are dissecting this JCNP survey that was released some weeks ago. We're moving on to question number 2. Question number 2 is, considering the current economic environment that the country and by extension corporate Bahamas finds themselves in due to COVID-19, should we consider one competitive parade and one heritage unity parade? And The results was 46% says yes, 46.11% says yes, 6.99% says no, and 46.91% says leave the current parade format. So yes.
Now,
Okay.
Now-
So hold on. Let's break that down. Let's be very clear. So you have almost a tie between the respondents who want to have the one formal parade and one heritage parade, and the people who want to have two formal parades.
That's correct.
Okay.
That is
Okay.
correct.
let me tell you how I see it, right? Let's have two parades. Far too often, we tend to push Junkanoo to the side. You get on a street parade. Sometimes they want to cut the parade short. You all hurry up, go past, whatever.
But hold on, stick a pin. That question wasn't asking about whether or not we having one or two parades, That question is asking about the format of the two parades. Should the two of them be formal, or should there be one heritage and one formal? And
What's
so
the formal parade?
Sorry?
What's a formal parade?
That's my word for the parades as they are now, with competition, costume, the works. And to me, the heritage parade is the one where there is no competition and you focus more on the celebration. That's my understanding now. The JCNP, I'm sorry, Dion is not here for him to explain to us exactly what the question intended. But if you read it carefully, it does say, hey, DF, it's talking about two parades, period, right?
Yes.
Right, DF?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
In my mind, let's have the two parades. Let's have the two parades without competition.
Okay.
Yeah. The two parades, I agree with you. To me, there's no debate about whether we are having one parade or two. We having two parades.
Okay. So
now the question, we talking structure and format and time.
All right. So we don't need to go over question number 3 then. If one
Number
parade,
three, we ain't get to 3 yet.
If one parade format is agreed, would you prefer it held on Boxing Day or New Year's Day? And
child bless, as the children say, child bless.
That is okay. Well, the results for that was 67% said Boxing Day, 32% said New Year's. All right, now question number 4. How do you feel about suspending?
Hold on. Go back to question number 3. Read it for me again, please. What would they ask?
If one parade format is agreed upon.
Oh, if one. Okay, thank you.
Which day? Which parade? Okay. Question number 4. How do you feel about suspending lead, costume, and step-down categories for the Junkanoo season 2022-23 due to the current economic climate?
And hold on now, just before you read the responses, we just want, for the benefit of anybody who is in the E-Shack who is not quite familiar with the terminology, we just want to make it clear that the lead pieces are the gigantic pieces that are usually put at the back of the group, right? And they are permitted to have wheels, right? They are the really oversized pieces. And now the step downs are usually where, in the front or the back? The step downs are what we would regard as almost mini lead pieces. They started out as dancers, as frame dancers. Now they are permitted to have wheels, and so they are quite sizable as well, right? That's what we're talking about here, whether we should scratch that or not in a formal parade.
That is correct.
All right.
And the results was 31% said suspend, 68% says do not suspend those categories.
Okay.
My only caveat for them is those categories needs to be adjusted. That would be my only caveat. Wheels need to be taken off of step down dancers, in my opinion, and wheels need to be taken off of lead pieces.
Like somebody said to me the other day, if you can't tote it, it can't go.
It can't go.
Exactly. Exactly. If you gotta roll it somewhere else. Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I know this question, then I would say the intent of this question has to do with the cost behind the lead pieces that has become quite exorbitant, and that's because of the structure of the lead pieces. If you remove wheels, the size of those costumes will go down. The size of those costumes, the cost of those costumes will go down. That's my logic behind that.
Yeah. Owen has an interesting point. He is saying, however, valid points. However, how do we get Junkanoos to push the envelope in terms of creativity and costuming, performance, and music without competition or some incentive? Even in schools, students are rewarded with gold stars, subject prizes, certificates, etc., to push them to excel. I am not necessarily pro competition this season, but I do see how it pushes us.
And he's not wrong with that. But here's the thing too. But here's the point you have to be careful of with even grooming a child and grooming a person, even an athlete. One of the biggest competitor that you're supposed to be competing against is yourself.
It's yourself.
It's internally. And that has been flipped, we have seen in the Junkanoo parades, where people will go to all means, all costs, and do whatever it takes. So competition in that regards have been used to a negative flow. You see what I'm saying? Meaning that they will skirt the rules. They will do whatever it takes. I think there has to be, just like how we're talking about it now, is that we have to first look internally and competing against yourself internally. How does your costume look this year compared to last year? You understand? How has your skills improved from this year to last year? All right. And also the competition it should not be magnified to the point where, as we are saying now, that's the only thing you're coming to Bay Street for. Yeah. That's my chime in on that.
Yeah, I think, and yes, Owen, and I completely agree with you. Motivation, let's be realistic now. Motivation is a big thing. You not only get to brag, but you also get a purse. You get a money prize, and that is a big thing. And so, my head would be in the clouds to say that is not important. You are absolutely right. But I believe, like discipline, I believe motivation, really the purpose of external discipline, the rules your school puts in place for you, the purpose of that is to get you to internalize them so that those rules will stay with you, whether your teacher is around or not. This may sound really silly, but I just couldn't get over this. Silbert Maxwell Ferguson is not a young man. To this day, he cannot walk over grass. It sounds funny, but Government High School had a rule: you couldn't walk on the grass. And to this day, he will walk around a quadrangle or any patch of grass where you are not supposed to walk. He will never walk. And that's, to me, a classic example of internalizing a rule. And so I say all of that to say that let's hope that the purpose let's hope that the reward, as Darren said, let's hope that the reward that would pushes you to still give of your best. And I know I'm talking in an airy fairy world, this ain't reality, but we hope that one day you will do it, not, and when I say you, not you personally, that people will do it for the satisfaction of having done it for themselves. There are some of us who never go to Bay Street looking for a prize. Never. Believe me when I tell you. Prize is the last thing on my mind. I go out there because I have to be there. That's a part of me. I have to be there, and my costume gotta be top notch. I don't care what the judges say, because their opinion doesn't value more than mine. And once I happy, I happy.
I agree with you on that. But then Owen comes back and he says, if there's no prize, why should I even go to practice? I'm being the devil's advocate here, he says.
Yes, of course.
But I follow your point, though, Arlene.
Mm-hmm.
I follow your point. I just do.
So when you go to practice, because every Thursday night or whatever night it is, that's your big night out. Don't let nobody keep you. You ain't, practice is a social event. Practice is a social event. We going to hang out with friends. We going to hear good music. We going to see what people who come from other groups saying about our music. We going to have ourselves a wonderful time and practice the fact that we are practicing kind of slips in somewhere, but we going to have ourselves a good time. Tell me if I'm wrong.
You gotta get some fritters, man.
Oh Lord, not the fritters.
You gonna get some gizzard. That's what. You get into the gizzard, woman. You think I know?
Lord, Ma, rest in peace, Ma. Oh Lord, every Thursday night, rest in peace.
Well, let's get on to question number 5. Question number 5. How do you feel about the formation of a national Junkanoo song competition? We have the results. 37% of the people agreed. 20% of the people disagreed. 41% of the people stayed neutral.
Wow. All I could say is wow.
I think that formation of a national Junkanoo song competition would be a great move in the right direction. I would suggest that this competition happens from it's unveiled from summer, so those cadre of songs could be released into the public and mastered to be played by the various Junkanoo groups during its big showtime on Bay Street during Boxing Day and New Year's Day parades. I feel as though that would be an awesome way to display and also promote Bahamian music, and I think it's a good idea.
So, with the results of the survey, help me to understand what it seems to be telling me. Is disturbing. What it seems to be telling me is that original music that we make, that Bahamian music, help me somebody, is not important. That we need Ronald Sims to still be borrowing other people's music and playing it on Bay Street, that we are not in the least bit interested of building a repertoire of original Junkanoo music. Help me, Ronald Sims, help me.
I think what it is telling you is that your concern is not my concern.
No.
That's what I think it's telling you. I don't put all that other stuff as long as you give me a parade and a competitive parade. That
Wow.
no interest to me. That's what I think.
Be shallow though.
That is what the survey is telling you. I want a parade. I don't care about anything else other than a competitive parade in the form I am used to being in. Don't change it, because I got no interest in your change.
So let me ask you something, Ronald. Let me ask you this.
Disturbing.
Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, we don't have a competitive parade for 3 years. What do you think will be the result of that?
Look at it now. You haven't had one for 2 years.
All right, then. So if we don't have one for the next 2 years, you know what can happen? There will be a shift in the way we look at our parades. Now is the time to do it. Don't have a competitive parade. Show people that we could be different.
I agree with you. Let's go in that direction, because I firmly believe that we are heading down the wrong road the way this parade is going on now. We off course, man.
I agree with
Bad. We of course bad. And Ronald, what I find interesting, I ain't gonna tell you no lie. When Rory first made that comment about we need to use this time to fix Junkanoo, he caught me off guard because I didn't know immediately what he was talking about. But you realize the longer we stay off of Bay Street, the more we realize how far down the road we have gone, not necessarily in the right direction, and that every time we talk about it, it's more to fix.
But others have been saying it in different ways for a long time also. Others have been saying Junkanoo has been its own worst enemy.
Wow. Our week is cut right out for us, fella. Cut right out. I hope. One question I would have had for Dion after hearing all of this is whether what does the JCNP intend to do with these results? Because fella, if they can act on these, we dead in the water. we just got fixing to do then.
Well, let's move on to question number 6. How do you feel about incorporating Bahamian entertainment during the lull period between parading groups? 61% agreed, 19% disagree, 18% stayed neutral.
I believe if you reorganize the parade and fix all the things that you are talking about needing to be fixed, there will be no need for external entertainment on the parade because the parade will flow as it used to flow, as it has been intended to flow.
Amen.
That's a good point, Ronald Sims. You're absolutely right. There would be no gaps if we took all the wheels out and we were properly managed.
All right. Question number 7. Should prejudging of step down and lead costumes be mandatory?
What you mean mandatory? I don't understand the question. Mandatory by whom?
Yeah, I guess they want that to happen. 64% of the people agree, 17% of the people disagree, and 17% of the people stayed neutral.
Boss, if we ain't having no competition, then this question is null and void, is moot.
I got you.
Okay, but for the purposes of the survey, let's assume that the background is in place, that the format is in place. Would we wish, if we're having a what I call formal, which is of the parades we are accustomed to now, if we are having a formal parade, would we want? How many said yes? They want prejudging.
I would say yes.
64% said yes.
Said yes.
I would say yes.
I would say that's true because I never believed that you could sufficiently and fairly judge a costume based on the criteria if you cannot examine the costume. You cannot examine a costume when someone is in it performing, man.
Yes.
I agree with you, Ronald.
Yes. My only comment, I don't think they left any space for people to comment, but if I had answered that, my only comment would be that the prejudging, you all could help me here because we got plenty of people involved with the lead pieces who are listening and who in the ESHAC. It seems to me as if it would work far better if the prejudging was to take place right in the parade venue itself. I know it was some years ago, Minister Wisdom tried the Cable Beach thing, and I'm not sure whether any other venue was tried. But getting those gigantic pieces through the streets from one venue to the next, to me, we should be able to display them somewhere right down Bay Street where they are already in position and they only have to move a short distance to get wherever they need to be in their group. That's my personal opinion, that if it's to happen, it needs to happen hours before the parade, right downtown in the parade venue.
Agreed. I ain't gonna argue that.
I would agree with you, Arlene, and this adds to my point of them removing wheels. One of the issues we've seen extreme increase in size costumes, meaning that it takes longer for them to put together because it's more pieces that they can carry. If we remove wheels, we would see smaller pieces that could be maneuvered easier and fit inside a place that is downtown, whereas it could actually, be not too far from the parade and be judged easier. So I agree with you there, Arlene.
When you see the fella gotta bring the forklift to hook up a costume, you know you got a problem.
Forklift? You ain't never see them bring the lift, eh?
Yeah, that's my point.
Oh.
I thought I was on a construction site.
All right. Question.
I'm serious putting together, serious hooking up down there, Bella.
What?
Question number 8. Y'all ready for that? Should judges' scores be displayed live in real time during parades?
Yeah. Give us the answer.
87% says yes. 12% says no.
I say yes.
On the whole question of judges.
Let's go.
The first thing we have to do with judges is get the judging process right. You cannot judge what you don't know.
They did not.
If you don't know music, you can't judge it. If you don't know dance, you can't judge it.
Okay.
If you don't appreciate engineering, you can't judge it, man. Come on.
Okay.
That's the first thing you gotta fix.
Okay, so we fixed that portion. Now we got the people judging who supposed to be judging with the cadre of credentials. Should the scores be displayed live?
Displayed live where?
In real time.
Let's start with that.
They say
where?
on a Jumbotron in Rawson Square.
So hold on. So let me make sure I understand this clearly. So I would need to have a ticket to sit in Rawson Square to see the scores immediately. If I on Shirley Street with the children, we still in the dark.
That's just me saying it. I guess they will have screens throughout the parade.
You can have an app. You can have an app that can do that.
You could have an app. You could have screens throughout the parade route where these scores go up live after.
I totally disagree with that. I totally disagree.
I disagree with the scores being displayed live too. I feel as though.
Yeah, and
I feel, me personally.
I'll tell you why.
I feel as though the group behind you has an advantage. That's how I feel. You understand me? If I know your score in a particular area, for instance, if I know your score in choreography for the girls, them certain moves that I would have taken a risk on, or certain things I would have taken a risk on, I get with our normal routine just to beat you, to be in sync, to just to choreograph on that. Same thing.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I can beat you on that. If you score 80, buddy, we could do our 1-2 routine that we done mastered and kill you on that. You understand? That's how I feel about it. Some people may say I'm wrong on that. You understand?
No,
it's the same thing.
I have some other concerns as well. We need to come back to that's question 8.
Yeah.
We need to come back to question 8 after we take our break. So ladies and gentlemen, we are going to our next break. And when we come back, we want to hear how you feel about the scores being available and visible. As they are posted by the judges. We'll be right back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I see why I don't drink soda no more. That's pure sugar, man.
Princess Margaret Hospital Blood Bank is in urgent need of blood donations of all types. Blood bank hours of operation are as follows. Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The last donor will be accepted at 4:30 p.m. On Sundays, the blood bank is closed. Identification needed for donation include your NIB card or driver's license. Do not attempt to donate if you are sick or experiencing respiratory symptoms. Do not come to the blood bank in large groups, as we will be accommodating 3 persons at a time. For more information on how you can become a blood donor or instructions on what to do before coming to donate blood, please contact the blood bank at 502-7822.
So you saw Larry take the money off the teacher's desk?
Yes, Mom.
And you told the teacher?
No, Mom.
Why not?
Because Larry wouldn't want to be my friend no more.
Honey, Larry did something wrong and you need to tell an adult. You may feel bad, but it is important that you do the right thing. Nobody has to find out that you told.
Okay.
Small crimes lead to big crimes. If you see a crime, you can call Crime Stoppers. It's safe and easy, and nobody knows who you are. You'll speak directly to someone in Miami or Toronto, Canada. They never ask anything about you. So be brave and do the right thing. We all need to help. Stop the crime before it's our time.
Guess what, Mommy? I feel good because I told somebody about Larry and the teacher get our money back. So pick up the phone. No one will never call you a snitch.
Call Crime Stoppers Bahamas today at 328-8477 or from the Family Islands, 242-300-8477. It's safe, and the life you save may be your own.
This public service announcement was brought to you by Crime Stoppers in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Examples of excellence. From his first Valley Boys practice in 1965, Anthony Chinese Smith was smitten with Junkanoo. Realizing that quality time was a prerequisite to participating on Bay Street, Chinese became skilled in many areas of the craft. He began his colorful Junkanoo career on Bay Street with the Black Souls, where he recorded his first Junkanoo victory in 1968. He then experienced a second consecutive win with a junior group from Culmersville led by Larry Major. He moved on to the classic dancers before formally participating with the Valley Boys. He was privileged to be a part of their history-making unmatched 5 straight victories. After this great triumph, Anthony became instrumental in the formation of the Roots Junkanoo Group, where for many years he was a pillar of strength. Introduced to the individual division by the legendary Anthony Carroll, Anthony is today a many-time champion of that division. Anthony Chinese Smith, this week's inductee into the Junkanoo 242 Shack of Excellence.
Welcome back. You're listening to the most consistent cultural show in the Bahamas, Junkanoo 242. Folks, we're diving into this JCNP survey that was posted a few weeks ago, and we're running right back to the question number 8. Should judges' scores be displayed live in real time during parades? Arlene, you wanted to chime in on this.
Yeah, what I wanted to say, and let me try to say this very nicely. We know that when we hear and see these my people, them people is mine. We know that when we see and hear Junkanoo results, there are times when we are unable to contain our emotion. Let's leave it like that. And so I would hate to see that happening on Bay Street in the middle of the parade when you dancing, coming down, having the time of your life. You feel like you mashing them into the ground, you and your group killing up. And when you look up and you see that negative score that you don't believe you deserve, what happened then? Are you going to take up your marbles and go home? You can stop rushing right in the middle of Rossington Square. This don't make no sense. We out of here. Or is it going to cause some other kind of negative reaction? So that's one of my concerns. My other concern was the one you articulated. If you see what the group ahead of you got and you ain't reached yet, it does give you an advantage. And so no, I would have voted no on that. Absolutely not. I don't want no more fireworks on Bay Street than what we get now.
Listen, we got 2 hot comments who said, Owen says, I rushed 3 laps away because in my mind, a group is always in the fight till the end. If word got out to me on Shirley Street that my group sitting in 5th with no chance of catching up, my members would go home and stay coming back for the last
we out of here. Why are we staying? Why are we staying? Exactly my point. It ain't gonna work. Believe me, it ain't gonna work.
I tell you all, no. People are saying certain categories should be displayed and certain should be kept out. Another comment will be is like, so what? How you can contain the fans in the stands if they don't agree, with some of the scores that are coming out. All right, so these are just some things.
All we can hear through them microphone is long, dry, sucky. That's all we can hear. And we lucky if that's all we hear.
Well, let's hear this. Okay, question number 9. How do you feel about implementing an infraction review process on the parade route rather than after the parade? That's A.
Hold on. Read that again. I missed something.
How do you feel about implementing an infraction penalty review process on the parade route rather than after the parade? That's A.
Okay.
B says, should scores continue to be released immediately after the parade, or would you like to return to releasing the scores next day, 6 p.m., fish fry? So, A portion of the questions, how do you feel about there being an infraction penalty review process on the parade route rather than after the parade? The percentages is this. 48% of the people said they agree. 6% of the people said they disagree. All right. B portion, scores being released right afterwards or returning 6 p.m. 62% said the people said the scores should be released right afterwards. 27% said the scores, they return 6 p.m. on Fish Fry to hear the scores. Let's hear you, Arlene. What say you about?
Let's go back. Let's tackle them in two phases. Let's go back to the first one.
How do you feel about implementing an infraction review process on the parade route rather than after the parade?
Tell me, what does that mean? Because you are assigned infractions on the parade now. So this is another version of the question before, which is that you will know you have been penalized while you on the parade. So if we get to the gate late or we don't have whatever the problem is, and you tell me that right away, then it doesn't make any sense for me to continue then. To me, this is a continuation of the question before that, unless I am misunderstanding. Help me.
But there's also infractions. I guess there's infractions. I think one of these things is what happens now is you have some infractions or some penalties that are giving that are refuted when it comes to after the parades. In terms in the post process, in terms of, for instance, let's say that you were giving a penalty for cloth, right? And you said this person paraded in cloth, and on the judges, they identify the person that paraded in cloth, X, Y, and Z. They noted the person they paraded in cloth. However, from the JCNP footage and pictures, your group can point out and say, this person does not have on cloth. Check out the costume. And so that cloth penalty is now removed from your total score. However, if that happens on the parade and you have, I guess, no evidence to say this person has, they want to say, as long as you sign that off, there's no review process after this parading. This is what happens.
So that will only help for certain penalties then, because let's take a hypothetical case. If my group is rushing on Shirley Street and there's nobody behind me and I get penalized for blocking the route and it causes me to lose the parade, if I didn't have a videotape of the road behind me with me blocking nobody, I'm going to lose the parade then. So it'll apply for certain penalties and not.
That is correct.
Okay, gotcha.
And then the score is being released immediately after the parade. And would you like to return 6 p.m. for it? People are saying release them right after, and you have people saying they return. 27% saying they return at 6 p.m. for the fish fry.
I guess my only comment would be that it is extremely important that they are accurate. If we are talking about unofficial results, to give people an opportunity to go over and to give groups an opportunity to lodge their protests and that kind of thing, then I quite frankly don't see where it makes a big difference if these are unofficial results subject to change upon review of penalty of protest. I don't see where it makes a big difference, immediate gratification or later on that evening. I don't see where it make a big difference personally.
Ronald, you were saying something?
You see why we have to, when I say we, all of us, have to make some radical changes to what it is we're doing. This whole thing has become too complicated, man.
Yeah.
The Junkanoo celebration ain't supposed to be as complicated as we got this now.
Ronald, but that is what happens when it's a competition. That's the only issue, If there was no competition, all of this goes away. Yes. That's only because it's a competition. You have to be so technical to ensure that everybody has the same rights and privileges.
And that's why we got to make some adjustments and fix it and beat out some of this headache we're encountering.
Exactly.
Darren, you smiling? What are you smiling about?
I'm smiling because I totally agree. My whole that was the last question, Arlene. My whole take on this.
That was question 10?
No, there are only 9 questions. Only 9.
Oh, 9. Sorry. Okay.
Yes. My whole take on this is with what Bastian opened the show with, and him saying for the last 40 years, this is what we have been quote unquote feeding the public. And when I say the public, even the participant in Junkanoo is this competition mode. And there hasn't been that of nothing more. Predominantly, this is what they have grown up on. And these kids have now grown into adults. And this is all that they know. This survey is a direct result of the generation that we have before us today. A lot of the people, I would say, is if we took the polls as to who answered this, in terms of age-wise, we'll see a particular category.
That is one of the things. Perhaps another survey, but you always need to put male or female. Do you participate in a Junkanoo group? Age range, even though they may not answer them truthfully, at least you have something to base it on to give you an idea of where the answers come from.
Yes,
let me show you how bad this thing has gotten size-wise, right? When I actively used to rush every parade, I used to be able to take my costume, put it in my car, and go to Bay Street.
Who you telling?
My son started rushing with me. I used to be able to take both of our costumes, put it in the car, go to Bay Street. The last time I actively rushed, I had to hire a truck to carry my costume to Bay Street.
What? Yeah. Put you in the brass, Ronald.
You are absolutely right. That is exactly why I had a Ford Explorer, because I had to be able to get to Bay, fling them back seats down, and I fling that costume in there, and I was ready to go, ready to roll.
Right, I was just a horn player. And I got to hire a truck now to carry my costume to Bay Street.
Wow. Yeah, times have changed. But I'll tell you this. I am grateful. I can't say it enough to the people who take the time to be in the E-Shack every week and make these sterling contributions, because we have become, I don't want to use the word conscience, but we are forcing everybody to think about Junkanoo, where it is and where we want it to go. We are really stimulating the discussion, and for that, we are very grateful. And ladies and gentlemen, on that note, we will take our final break, and when we come back, we'll have the news off the shack wall, and then we'll wrap it up with final comments.
You see what going down, big? Them jokers running free. You need to go report what you see.
Me? For them to clip me next?
I ain't saying going to police directly.
But what you talking about then?
Call Crime Stoppers Bahamas. You can tell them directly what's going down.
Wait, Crime Stoppers is the police, you know?
No, my boy. When you call Crime Stoppers, they just answer your call in Miami or Toronto, Canada. So no one can know it's you. And you don't have to give them no personal information. Because they just give you a pin.
Wait, what you talking about though?
They got their own system down there to get the information where it need to go. I just saying, if you ain't got nothing to lose, you might as well get these jokers off the street.
True, and so Crime Stoppers is the one that's give you plenty money for that hot news, eh?
Yeah, and if you help the police with the arrest, from PIN, you get some balance. So I just saying, win-win, my boy.
So, what the number is though? Free up the number.
Do the right thing. Stop the crime before it's your time.
Bing.
Call Crime Stoppers Bahamas today at 328-8477 or from the Family Islands, 242-300-8477. It's safe, and the life you save may be your own.
This public service announcement was brought to you by Crime Stoppers in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
And now for news off the shack wall. Happy birthday greetings to everyone celebrating a birthday at this time, especially Timmy Turner, Fred Munnings Jr., Denise Mortimer, Brando Thompson, and Glenn Knowles. To you and everyone else celebrating at this time, have a happy and a prosperous new year, everyone. Condolences to the families who are all grieving a loss of their loved ones at this time. Our heartfelt condolences are with you. You were asked to please support a medical fundraiser in aid of Thomas Smitty Smith of One Family. It will take place February 26th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at St. Agnes Preschool, Market and Corkbourne Streets. Chicken, steak, and fish, choice served with peas and rice, and your choice of sides. Please contact Miranda at 818-0940 or WhatsApp 825-8321 or Anthony Thompson in Eleuthera at 802-4490. Please support this worthy cause. And the countdown. And it is Saturday, February 19th, 2022. We are 44 hopeful weeks away from Bay.
Ah, boy, you see that hopeful paying off.
I keep telling them, you gotta have hope, man.
You see that hopeful is paying off. Oh, boy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are in the closing moments of Junkanoo 242 for this Saturday, February the 19th. And truly, we are always so thrilled when you are joining us in the Ishak, those people who are committed to Bahamian culture, and with specific reference to Junkanoo, we make sure, and Darren Bastian better don't ask me nothing, we making sure we ain't letting this old flag fall. And so let's just close with our final thoughts pertaining to the questionnaire, and let's get some feedback on what you think should be the next step now that we have heard the results of the questionnaire. And unfortunately, Dion could not be here. He had to attend the funeral this morning. But let's hear your comments. What should the JCNP do with this data that they have collected? Where should we go from here relative to these responses? DF, what you think, the JC? You on the JCNP?
Yeah, I think right now, from this information being heard, I think we need to look at, quote unquote, what is being said, but also what is not being said. All right, that is just as important. There is a appetite for competition. How do we use that if we're going to use that? But I think first of all, we have to plot the direction as to where we want our unique festival called Junkanoo to go. All right, that's why I feel as though as the JCNP, that needs to be our mandate doing that. And I'm speaking with all member groups, all reps, everything. Where do we see ourselves in 10 years, 15 years? And from that mandate, from that information right here, when you have people saying that a national Junkanoo song competition is not important, that says a lot about us. It says a lot about us. You see what I'm saying? Because if Junkanoo is not supposed to be that platform where you come and display that Bahamian cultural items in terms of song and artistry and expression and creativity, where is it supposed to happen? You understand? It says a lot about us. And so do we understand what we have our hands on in terms of protecting and nurturing our uniqueness in our Bahamian culture through this festival? So I think that's what needs to happen. And then from there, you can have discussions on, hey, listen, we need to lay off that competition for a few years and put some mechanisms in place to foster certain appetites and certain things that we want to see blossom and happen even more in the parades.
Yeah. Truly, those words, yes, you are absolutely right. We really have to pause, and take stock, like Jackie keeps saying. We have to reset. We truly cannot go back to business as usual after that would mean, for me anyhow, that we have learned nothing in the past 2 years, that we have not been able to go on Bay Street. It would mean to me that we just took this as a break. We didn't see it as the opportunity to, as Jackson would say, to see what we're looking at and to start to make some changes that would bode well for the future of Junkanoo down through the years. So I really think we need to take stock, and I would hope that the JCNP will think all of this through and not take the results of the questionnaire as gospel. If you have not collected the data on, or you don't know for sure who answered, everybody's opinion is valuable, but in certain situations, you have to rely on the opinions of some people more. You know what I mean? If you're talking about Junkanoo music, for example, we got to listen to the musicians, not only the musicians, but they have a serious contribution to make. And so that would be my only caution, to be very careful how you take these results for gospel. That would be my only caution.
Yeah, it's very important. I love the initiative in getting feedback.
Yes.
And feeling from some of the people where their pulse is or where their thinking is. And sometimes a lot of people, they're so caught up in the moment that they don't think situations through 5-10 years down the road. And Arlene, me and you had a discussion about it last week. Change normally doesn't happen immediately. It takes some time. Right. And slowly you let this slide and this moves and this agitates and you say, oh, ain't nothing wrong with this. And then you look back 7-8 years and you're trying to figure out, well, how did we get down this road and we're off course? Because you just never said, okay, here's where we're going in this direction. And so I think this is the time for us to do that. Chairman.
Yeah.
You've been meditating.
I totally agree with you. I couldn't say it any different than how you did. So I totally agree with you.
I had, one of my watershed moments that, like Darren said, it's happening under your nose and you don't realize it. And, when that lady from the Jamaica National Museum, when I did the presentation for them on Junkanoo, and then she looked behind my head and she said, it looks like carnival. And she said everything, when she tried to do the logo for the presentation, and she had this lady in the bikini, and I said, and just feathers behind. I said, that is not Junkanoo. And she said, this is what I found when I went online to look for it. I said, but that's Junkanoo Carnival. That is not Junkanoo. And that was really an eye opener for me, because we, like you say, we've gone right down that road where we are so busy copying people and we so mix up that we seem not to know what is uniquely Bahamian, much less why we need to preserve it and why it separates us from other cultures. And so we still have plenty talking to do, Bella. If we think we're making any progress, believe me, we got plenty to do.
But the real question is, and while the discussion is good, you see, we just talk. We like to talk, and we can talk all the time.
We's good talkers, boy, Ronald. We good talkers, boy.
We don't do nothing. Are we going to do something? or is this just another talking session?
Right. And sadly, that is why we know Dion had commitments this morning because he had already promised he would be here. But we will certainly have him on again since he could not be here this morning to find out from a JCNP perspective, what is the path forward? What do you intend to do now? And then we take it from there.
But the question is he in a position to answer that without the benefit of input from the JCNP call?
No, right. But he can certainly tell us what he plans to do as the chairman. What do you plan to do? Do you plan to have a session on these results and get the input from the groups as to where you go from? He could tell us what he plans to do as the chairman, setting the direction. But like you say, he can't speak. All the groups will have to say.
And that's the PR man on the top of your head.
Yeah, that's who that is. The bald head one up to the top.
I wait attentively for the next steps, and we will let the public know as we move forward.
Yeah. But I mean, among us, but of course, who are we? Don't answer that. But among us, there are our consensus. Just among us is, one what I call formal parade with competition that we know, and one celebratory parade, heritage parade on New Year's morning, for us to bring in the new year full of hope and promise. And so we'll see what the final outcome is. But the good news is that at the end of this year, something will be happening. And we're still not quite sure what that is yet. It's still only February. We would have been well started by now if we were having 2 formal parades.
Man, y'all would have just come off bay your own plan already in February?
Yes, we plan in January. You know that. Stop playing off.
Y'all don't stop.
You know we choosing themes in January.
Y'all don't stop, man. Jeez.
Cannot taste and decide why we win and why we lose.
I just trying to get the glitter out of my house in January. Y'all want to talk team already?
Yes, sir. You stay right there. Stay right there cleaning up your house. We moving on.
And y'all
you see that paper got to be, but to say it, the paper got to be on the water by April 8th for us to get it by July. So yeah. He got to know what colors he ordering. So we gotta get cracking, brother.
Chairman, you've been holding.
And that's another thing as well we haven't discussed. Even if we say we having a formal parade, the world situation and all the supply chains and what will be available and what won't. There'll be so many factors playing into the decision as time moves on. So, we simply just pray for the best.
Chairman, you've been holding your head for the last couple of minutes. You okay?
I'm good. I'm very good.
Because these people, they ready to go to bed. They just ready to go to bed.
Yeah, we just ready to go.
Well, folks,
and so, ladies and gentlemen, we start to wrap up this morning's show. Chairman, your parting words.
Let's go to bed, man. Let's get it right, though. Let's get it right.
Yeah.
Let's get it right.
Amen. DF, final words.
We got a lot of work to do, but the good thing is we are capable of doing the work.
Amen. And ladies and gentlemen, on that very positive note, we thank you again for being in the E-Shack with us this morning. Another stimulating discussion. Next week, another very important show for you. And thank you so much for making us a part of your Saturday morning. And so until next week, God willing, remember this is Junkanoo 242. It's all about you, wherever you are in the 242. And until then, stay safe. Practice all safety protocols and make sure now, let everything we all do prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that we are all
proud.
See you next week.